All right, so the Diablo 4 developer live stream just ended. They announced Season of the Malignant, which we expected them to announce something. It starts July 20th, which is excellent. That's less than 2 weeks away. I thought it would be at least another week after that, so we get it sooner rather than later. They also announced a new patch that's coming out today. The only detail they really gave us is that Helltide chests can now drop uniques. I thought they probably could have already, but apparently not. So that's one big change. Hopefully we get some balance changes and some other good changes in today's patch. I just wanted to quickly go over what I feel they did right with this developer live stream. Overall, I think it was pretty good. I mean, they could have cut the Diablo Immortal crap out of there. That went on for way too long. I think they just should have done a separate stream for that entirely. They did warn us ahead of time that they'd be talking about it for like 15 minutes, but man, I mean, who really cares at this point? But anyway, they moved past that. It had a pretty cool trailer. I'll give them that. And then we started getting into the juicy stuff about Diablo 4. So yeah, like I said, it starts July 20th. It takes place after the events of the Diablo 4 campaign. So I think it's probably recommended that you beat the campaign and then dig into the seasonal content. Anything that you do on a campaign character when it comes to exploration or your Altars of Lilith, they will actually carry over into your brand new seasonal character. So you can start level 1 and already have multiple skill points and extra potions, etc. So that's pretty big. But the main seasonal features here, it sounds interesting. It kind of just sounds like Diablo 3 legendary gems in a way, but at least there's an interesting way of earning them. And it might be deeper than what they show. They don't always show everything, but basically this guy here, the new quest line, his name's Cormand, I believe, Cormand. And he was a priest of the Cathedral of Light, and he's trying to stop this corruption from spreading. And I guess he can't do shit himself, so he needs us to help him. So there's a new mechanic, which is these malignant hearts. The way they described it is basically like any elite monster in the game can kind of spawn as a malignant version. This is even at like level 1, apparently. So they can spawn as a malignant version, and you kill them, they drop a heart. You can then capture the heart, which will then spawn more stuff, harder stuff, and you can kind of earn these different malignant heart powers. I think they said there's 32 of them. They come in different categories, and like they can only fit in certain sockets. So it is kind of like legendary gems, and they showed just a few. I wish they had shown more, get people more excited about, oh my god, I can use that one. But they hovered over one where you, like, when you crit, you release lightning for the barbarian, so now you're whirlwinding around in circles, you're critting and like lightning sparking between all the enemies. That's kind of cool. It's basically a way that you can create new builds. Again, we need to see more details from these gems and what they actually do, but it's more ways of creating new builds, which is fantastic. That's what we need. This game is lacking in builds. Yeah, they showed that off. Apparently there's a new boss battle. I don't know if it's like on the level of a pinnacle boss or like a Uber Lilith, I'm assuming it's going to be something easier that the masses can kind of dig into, and you don't need like a perfect god build character in order to beat. So that's kind of cool. And of course, new gear. Now there's not as many as I had hoped, unless this is just from the season journey. But 6 unique items to discover and 7 new legendary aspects to earn along the season journey. Great, that's a good start. We need to get more, basically. There's not enough, especially at endgame, which they didn't really touch on much. There's just not enough to do. I don't know how else to put it. Like, you get to level 100 and you're just done, other than killing Uber Lilith. That's it. So then they announced the season journey feature here. Apparently it has 7 chapters. Each chapter has a number of different objectives that you basically can do to advance to the next chapter. You don't have to do them all, so it kind of fits your playstyle a little bit. They used, if you don't like sellers, you don't have to do sellers, for an example, because they showed one of the objectives as complete 1 seller. I mean, I don't know who wouldn't go do that, but you know what I mean. So you can kind of play the game how you want and still progress. You don't need the battle pass to have access to the seasonal journey, which is good. The battle pass has stuff for free players as well, like cosmetics and stuff, so you don't have to buy the premium thing in order to get or participate in the seasonal rewards. You can still get some things without having to spend any money, which is great. The smoldering ashes is one of those things that you can use them to buff different things. The experience that you earn, the amount of crafting materials that drop, things like that. So you don't need to pay money in order to get these. These are power, you know. Bonus experience is obviously power added to your character. So the fact that they didn't hide these behind a paid battle pass is huge. That would piss a lot of people off, and rightfully so. You can't use these until you reach a certain level, apparently. So even then, you can't just like blow through it and get a bunch of smoldering ashes and then boost your EXP. Like, you have to actually earn the right to use these. So that's another smart choice. There's seasonal titles, I guess. Eldritch Monster title, whatever. And of course, a bunch of new clothing and weapon transmogs. So they showed off some of them. They look pretty badass. You should definitely check it out. This is the seasonal armor, I guess. They showed some more specific stuff. This mount actually kind of had this cool effect where the eyes, like smoke's coming out of the eyes. Yeah, like the armor looks good. Lots of good looking stuff, honestly. I mean, you kind of would expect this. It's their first season. They better come out swinging, right? So the cosmetics look nice, but you can't be playing just for a couple cosmetics and that's it. Obviously, you want to actually play the game, right? If you're going to look like a badass, you want to have something to do while you look like a badass. So this basically summarizes, you know, what's going on here. They already want you to upgrade and stuff. But overall, when it comes to the actual battle pass and the season, I think that they did a pretty good job of presenting it, and it sounds like it's going to be pretty cool. We'll see how this quest line goes and how quickly you farm these hearts, and are you going to be done everything in 10 hours? We'll see how that goes. They described the Season 1 patch as super chonkers, which I guess is very, very large. It's going to be a big patch with a lot of changes. If you've seen my other videos about the Season 1 wish list, I hope that they nerf a lot of the overpowered builds and buff the garbage builds. I want more parity, you know? It's great if you can kind of get through a dungeon using your own build and it takes you 10 minutes. It doesn't feel as great when you know there's another build that does the same dungeon in 1.5 minutes, right? So just a little more parity would be great. They did a couple Q&A questions at the end. They basically said that they're releasing something called a Scroll of Amnesia, where basically it resets your whole character for no gold cost. All your skill points, all your Paragon points, everything gets reset, and they'll drop from randomly in the world or something, these scrolls. Kind of a weird solution for their terrible respeccing system that they have, but hey, it's something, I guess. Some people will like it. And they also mentioned, will they be nerfing or buffing characters in the middle of seasons, or only at like the season start with the big seasonal patches? And they said that, you know, they'll talk about it a little bit more in the future, but they want to reserve like big nerfs or buffs for the seasonal patches, but of course they'll tweak things as they go, which I think is fair. They need to really rein in some of these crazy builds, especially when you compare them to the alternatives, right? A couple other things that they mentioned. Someone brought up the stash space and how bad it is, which is a great question. They say they hear us. They know it's a problem. They have big plans to improve it, but it's not something that they can quickly fix. Well, what are you doing? Just make the stash bigger, add more tabs, or what? Who knows? But they apparently can't just make it bigger. So that's a work in progress there. They also mentioned that seasons will last at least 3 months, like a minimum of 12 weeks. At least you get 12 weeks per season. There was another question about, do they have any plans for adding new classes to Diablo 4? And they have nothing to announce at this time, which is the obvious answer. Of course, they're making other classes. Other than that, there's not really too much to talk about. You're getting what you kind of expected, and I'm just glad that they showed as much as they did today, and that it's less than 2 weeks away. So that's the big takeaways from this. Overall, good developer stream. They spent 90 minutes talking. They wasted like 21 minutes on Diablo Immortal, but overall, something to be excited about. You should try and complete the exploration on your character and find the Altar of Lilith, because that will carry over to your seasonal character. So if anything, if you have a list of what I should do before the season starts, that's it. Explore everything, find the Altars of Lilith. Other than that, wanted to keep this quick, short. Anyone who doesn't want to watch the whole live stream, they can get a summary basically from this video. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.